This episode is sponsored by Manta Sleep. Plankton is the only member of the original cast to have not fallen off in the 20 plus years of premiering new episodes of SpongeBob, and episodes like The Flower Plot show it very well. To explain why Plankton never fell off, let's look at the 4 ways that the main cast have fallen off and how Plankton has avoided that. The fastest way to kill a character's popularity is to never evolve what they're able to offer. We've seen this time and again with characters such as Sandy, Mrs. Puff, and Squidward, where they often do not have them act outside of a few safe areas of their own personalities. Within this episode, which is another Plankton episode about attempting to steal the Krabby Patty secret formula, this episode takes a surprising twist early on.
I'm leaving for good. Karen and I are gonna travel the world before I take it over.
Yeah, right.
Right, okay, bye-bye then.
What better way to start off a tried and true formula with Plankton than by quitting? Savvy fans may point out the episode New Leaf, a season 4 episode where Plankton quit immediately, and the episode was about him turning over a new leaf. But unlike Yellow Pavement, an episode that failed to distinguish itself from a similar prior episode, Boat Smarts, this episode doesn't deal with Plankton publicly turning a new leaf. It's actually a lot more sinister. We'd see that he went the extra mile to destroy the chum bucket and leave no reminders of himself around, instead having a giant flower pot take the chum bucket's place. Why is the flower pot so important in the first place? Well, it's not just a giant pot, but a flower shop that features a bubbly, friendly shop owner.
You're Mr. Krab, huh? And you run the Krusty Krab, huh? It's my favorite restaurant, huh?
Well, nice to meet you, Petunia. I just wanted to stop by and welcome you to the neighborhood.
You stop by anytime, huh?
Well, thank you.
You may already see the twist, but Petunia is Plankton, and his plan is to gain the Krabby Patty secret formula via trust and deception. By playing the role of a super friendly shopkeep, no one is the wiser as the Bikini Bottom has flower fever. This episode stands out immediately compared to New Leaf, in which Plankton himself was playing the role of being a nice guy, and thus this episode isn't giving fans more of the same. However, it goes deeper than not being repetitive. There are characters on the main cast that have simply not been exciting in many of their recent episodes and thus are labeled boring. While SpongeBob, the show, already struggles with compelling stories in its 13th season, Plankton in this episode is far from boring compared to Gary or Pearl, who are interesting characters but haven't been known for a streak of interesting episodes revolving around them for a long time. Given that Plankton is not a static character, he can play different emotions and be engaging, whether it is deceivingly friendly to Mr. Krabs, cautiously nervous around SpongeBob, or being weirded out by Squidward's romantic pursuit.
Enchanté, je suis Squidward. If you ever need any help arranging your flowers, give me a holler. Think of me as your Begonia Pappy. This is the secret to other dynamics, such as Elmer Fudd and Bugs Bunny's back and forth, Ed and Eddie's pursuit of the Jawbreaker, or Phineas and Ferb's summer, where the ending to any of these rarely if ever changes, but the adventure almost certainly does. Whether it has to do with Plankton making a rock band, taking Sandy's fur to disguise as SpongeBob's friend, or calling his extended family, regardless of the quality of these attempts, it is clear that the team enjoys finding different, unique ways to tell a very static story. Petunia even brings out a different side of Karen, who's often unsupportive of Plankton's ideas. Plus, it's just nice to see a character being happy in a show where that's not guaranteed for anyone beyond SpongeBob and Patrick. Had Plankton become boring, I wouldn't even put on these episodes like in the background to fall asleep to, because I already have a Manta Sleep mask. It makes no sense to sleep for 6, 7, 8 hours and wake up feeling sluggish all day because you couldn't find that perfect deep sleep. And that's where Manta Sleep aids to solve that problem. My personal choice is the OG sleep mask, which allows for me to have a deeper, balanced sleep, easy to adjust with no pressure on my eyes or eyelashes at all. Manta Sleep masks also come with earplugs and a protective case, so you can get the best sleep possible and keep everything in one place for easy storage. If you want to take the first step towards getting better sleep at an affordable price, use promo code ALPHAJ, ALPHAJAY, and get a 10% discount on a Manta Sleep mask, the world's comfiest 100% blackout sleep mask guaranteed. However, what isn't guaranteed when going on for a long time is the avoidance of watering down certain characters.
Mr. Krabs and SpongeBob are some of the biggest offenders in this case, having more robust and interesting personalities and then turning into a shell of their former selves in recent time, opting for one or two traits of their complex prior selves. Plankton avoids that because while he does largely have the same personality, he benefited from the change that a lot of older fans would argue killed the entire show. Within the 9th season, the show decided to take on a much more wacky approach, leaning into references more and adopting a free-form, less serious approach to episodes. It was a change that made, at the time, what was referred to as modern SpongeBob not feel like what it was, because it changed how the characters felt to the viewer. While newer fans generally have no issue with this, older fans did, and it caused a great divide. However, I would argue that this didn't affect Plankton as much as the other main characters, because a wackier Plankton only accentuates the parts of his personality that people already love and crave to see more of. In fact, watch Plankton as Petunia spread love and joy to the citizens of Bikini Bottom.
Don't pick your nose, pick a flower.
And this leads into the final but worst way to kill off the enjoyment of a character, and that is to make them flat out unlikable, as this is what happened at select episodes of this series to Patrick and Karen, whom became insufferable because their character was boiled down to one or two things. Plankton here is funny, unpredictable, wholesome, relatable, likable, and acting as he logically should, but the episode takes it one step further with what I think is the most interesting part of the episode. Plankton as Petunia gives Mr. Krabs a giant order of flowers, of which a bomb is planted inside to destroy the Krusty Krab, giving Plankton enough time to run in, grab the formula, and take over the world. However, he has a change of mind.
I was thinking of putting my plan on hold for a while.
What?
And becoming a full-time florist. I love making customers smile, and I really think I have the knack for flower arranging. Boom!
Aw, that's so sweet. My little man wants to be a florist.
It's my new dream.
He actually turns over a new leaf, unlike in the episode New Leaf, where in that episode, it was a giant ruse from beginning to end. Karen, in a wholesome twist, supports seeing her husband take up an interest that isn't the Krabby Patty secret formula. It would be hard to argue that Plankton is unlikable for actually enjoying a hobby that he never would have known he'd be into until he did it. The show would have never ran with this, the status quo is still indeed God, although I would not have been upset if they wanted this to linger for an episode or two. It's just a nice change of pace for a character some of us have seen for over 2 decades. So, in usual fashion, how does he mess up his plan to gain the secret formula? Unfortunately, his plan is too rock solid, as he delivers the bomb when he didn't exactly want to, leading into him needing to take all the flowers back, but before he can dispose of them properly, we get another funny moment with Squidward.
Petunia the florist, will you marry?
You loopy, lovesick lummox! You sabotaged my whole plan!
Plankton just had a great way of bringing out the best in everyone in this episode. From showing a nicer side of Mr. Krabs than we'd normally see, a sweeter side of Karen than we'd normally see, a funny Squidward appearance, and SpongeBob, while overbearing in his modern state, was reeled back and used sparingly in this episode, making it one of the better ones. He also defends and appreciates the return of Plankton. The episode even protects him, who, while quite soft in this episode because of the whole flower thing, gets the last laugh. Whether it is his early episodes or post-movie or his dynamic with Spot in the later episodes or new episodes like this one, Plankton is the only character from the main cast to have not fallen off and is still able to provide gems of episodes. Which, speaking of, this episode is up there alongside Shell Games, which has the best twists in modern SpongeBob history.